So there's a quote in the book, and well, it's a story. It's not very long, but I had access to it. I wanted to read it just so I could kind of fill in any gaps or understand the ideas in the movie. But one of the quotes that I sent to you that I thought was pretty good about the movie and the book and probably a conversation is the existence of free will meant that we couldn't know the future, and we knew free will existed because we had direct experience of it. Volition was an intrinsic part of consciousness. Or was it? What if the experience of knowing the future changed a person? What if it evoked a sense of urgency, a sense of obligation to act precisely as she knew she would? So it seems like there's that when that reminded me of the Campbell idea of joyful participation in reality. So at the beginning of the film, she lives alone. She's a teacher. She's single. She even mentions later in the film that she doesn't have sort of an intimate connection with another human being. She talks with her mom, but then, she gets the call to adventure, and she just has to dive right in. And she finds that even ultimately knowing ahead of time that her daughter is going to die, she has this sense of joyful participation in reality with
Right.
other people around. And I think Campbell talks about this idea that you have cultures that originally they affirmed existence just as it was. The archaic cultures, they didn't balk at the fact that they had to kill animals to live, or that they had human sacrifice and all these other things to do. They didn't shy away from participation in life. And then you get what he calls the great reversal, where it starts, I think, with around the time of Jainism and that kind of stuff, when you get this negation of life, like the Schopenhauer idea, life is something that should not have been because everything is brutal and awful. And so that's kind of two extremes. And then you get the third option, which comes along with Zoroastrianism, where it's, okay, the world is fallen or corrupt, we can renew it or revive it or correct it. So
Right.
she seems to sort of exist in the Jain, the Jain world resignation.
Yeah, maybe
Uh,
the base philosophy of Jainism without any of the weird practices.
yeah, no face masks and
No face
nudity.
masks and sweeping bugs out of the way so that you don't step on them by accident. All that.
Yeah. So it seems like uh, the language when she understands that reality is exactly as it should be because of her understanding of the language, then she participates. She joins into the life and death cycle rather than trying to, or sort of being resigned from it.